Now, yesterday we told you that government could bring a referendum on women's rights. The people will be given an opportunity once again to say yay or nay after giving a thumbs down 10 years ago. Janae and Noel Ferguson talked to the Prime Minister about this.
The government plans to hold a referendum for constitutional changes to eliminate discrimination against women, a matter that Prime Minister Christie, while in opposition in February 2002, objected to. The vote was also rejected by the people. Today, Mr. Christie said there was a specific reason for that.
We opposed last time on a specific ground. I went to the Seventh-day Adventist annual gathering, and I remember Janet Boswick was on one side and I was on the other, on the aisle sitting down, and I remember the then leader of the Seventh-day Adventists saying they weren't consulted, and that because they weren't consulted they couldn't participate. I then checked and found out that all of the churches were saying they weren't consulted, and I then went to my colleagues and said, for the purposes of lack of consultation, we must oppose this unless Ingram decides to stop it and consult. And he didn't. And that is how we got to do it. It was not about, we didn't make decisions on the merit of the case. What we're saying now is that we're going to put it, and we're going to put it to the Bahamian people, because it is not just a question of what we think, it's a question of what the world thinks.
When asked by the media if he feels the party's opposition in 2002 will affect the outcome of the pending referendum, this is what Mr. Christie had to say.
The PLP's opposition to the referendum was that you should never, since, as I said before, it was not a question of a judgment as to the substance of it, it was a judgment as to the process. And we attacked the process, and we were successful in attacking the process. Now, the byproduct of it is you say that it wasn't passed. Yes, it wasn't passed. But we were never motivated against any issue on the referendum. We were motivated against the fact that it was being imposed upon people against their will.
Nevertheless, Mr. Christie says the Bahamian people will have another opportunity to decide.
The Bahamas, it's an issue where the United Nations, for example, and other entities will raise concern about, your policies and your laws, and so what we will do is that we will respond to the positive feelings in the country that this is an issue that should go to the people. That's the
Janae and Noel Ferguson, ZNS News.